Hi everybody, this is Tom from Rocket Restorations, and I have been looking forward to this one for a very, very long time. Today we're going to be getting a personal tour from Tim Wellborn from the Wellborn Muscle Car Museum. This place is absolutely amazing. It's an old Chevy dealer that he converted into his museum. There's a gas station over here. There's my brother. He has the K&K Insurance Charger. So I think what we're going to do here is we're going to do a personal tour with Tim, kind of show you the cars, kind of do the kind of quick version of this, show you all the buildings and all the cars he has, and then we're going to do some in-depth videos on a few of the individual cars in the collection, and those will be separate videos later. He has some really amazing cars that I want to feature, but this place is so cool. This is like my heaven. All right guys, this is if you haven't met him before, this is Tim Wellborn.
Hey, good to see you here in
Nice
Alabama.
to see you. Yep. We were hanging out at MCACN this year, maybe after a couple drinks,
Yeah.
but he invited me down here
that.
to the museum. I've never been. Gary, my brother's been down here a couple times. I've never been, and I'm really looking forward to this. So
well, we're gonna have a fun day.
yeah. There's a
Talking
lot of
about cars.
There's a lot of fun stuff to look at here. So I'd like to know what's the history on the building here. I love old dealership buildings. I love this stuff. So I'd love to know what the history on the building is.
Well, here in small town Alabama, Alexander City, this was a Chevrolet dealership back in the day, and built in 1938. And you'll see a lot of these buildings in these small towns in Alabama. I'm sure elsewhere too. It was a GM footprint.
Yep.
So it is the real deal.
So it's like a generic
Yep,
style they
it
had
was
for the
that
buildings.
They had to do. And so we, Pam and I purchased it, almost 18 years ago now. Totally remodeled interior.
Nice.
Still a lot of original things, but we did rewire it, replumb it, because I didn't trust the old wiring.
Yeah.
And we put in a sprinkler system and
Yep.
new heating and cooling. And other than that, she's still the way you see it outside, the way she was.
That's awesome. I'm glad you preserved it as it is.
And we wanted to do that. Keep it.
He kind of has his unique touches with the Wellborn Museum signs up there. That's cool.
Then over to the left is part of the building as well, and where you see the K&K truck sitting,
So that was part of the dealership?
that was part of the dealership
Okay.
as well. And
They had a gas
we
station
just
up front?
recently purchased that about 2 years ago.
Okay.
And so we're remodeling it. It'll become part of the museum in the near future as well.
Nice.
But we're going to walk around here today. You're going to see
Yep.
some cars parked in there already.
Yep.
So.
Well, collectors always need room. You always need more storage, because wherever storage you get, you fill.
You
So-
fill it up, and then you're right. It's time to get something else.
All right, let's go in the museum, take a tour.
All right.
So this is the entrance in here. It kind of has a merch store, which I really need to start getting merch. I'm not very good
You
about
should,
that.
because you're well known.
Yeah.
You got a huge following, so you need to get
I
get
have
it
a couple
done.
T-shirts made,
And,
but like,
we do sell a good bit of merch. We got
That's good.
stuff that we can get on the internet and find us, and some of it's your regular T-shirt stuff, and then some of it's high-end stuff like
Yep.
you'll find at Amelia Island
Yep.
or
no, these look like really nice quality stuff here. So
we find that most people like them because you'll wear that a lot. And,
Yeah.
when it's good quality stuff.
yep,
So.
totally.
But anyway, come on
And
in.
then all these are,
Yeah.
he bought these from the Giuliano collection. As you guys know, I'm a huge sign guy and memorabilia guy.
That's the
so.
real stuff there. A lot of Scat Pack stuff hanging up there. In the
You get
ceiling.
C-bodies. Where are the C-bodies in here?
Well, it was all part of the package. So I had to hang it all up
I
there.
gotta get you in a C-body.
Well, you're going to see a C-body in a little bit.
Okay.
We got a C-body convertible. You just hadn't got to it
Okay.
yet. You'll probably like it.
These are super cool. Like I've done a couple of videos on cutaways before, but these just fascinate me. We're gonna do a full video on all three of these in a little bit, so I'm not gonna go into detail, but yeah.
Well, I'll say this before we get into it. Probably the rarest piece of memorabilia in the world is one of these Hemi cutaways or the 446 pack cutaway. But we'll probably plug up one and let you see it working here shortly. 'Cause all the parts move just like they did back in 1970.
We're gonna get back to that one. So,
All right.
So this is really cool. This is
Well, my museum curator here, Alton Freeman, he just restored this Camaro. He's a Camaro guy. So I said, all right, he just went to the World of Wheels, and you can see the quality of his work, done it right here in the shop. And he went and won a big award up in Birmingham at the World of Wheels 2 weeks ago. So
Yep.
I said, okay, put it in the showroom, and he put it in here this weekend.
any museum like this has to have an Eldon, because like they're the guys who make everything run, make the cars run. Tim drives his stuff. This stuff doesn't sit. He drives his stuff. You've got to have a guy maintaining it, make sure everything's working. He's that guy for Tim. He does amazing work. He painted this in his garage. And as all you know, black is like the hardest.
I
It
know,
shows
but look at the
everything.
quality of that paint on
It
that
looks
car.
amazing.
Yeah, if I didn't have Alton, it'd be difficult to run it because he keeps every car running. And as
Yep.
you just said, every car you're about to see, we drive them.
Which is awesome. Like there's nothing worse you can do to a car than let it sit. They
Absolutely,
hate that.
absolutely. So I always say the biggest smile I get on my face is not when I'm walking in the museum looking at the car, it's when I'm driving it. And that's when they're fun.
We're gonna go drive a car later too. So
Okay. And,
there are a couple Fords in here. It is
Yeah.
a muscle car museum. Tim's a Mopar guy, but there are a couple Fords. So
well, I kind of like Fords. Chevrolets are my less like, but anyway, they're all muscle cars from that day.
These are super cool signs he had made up too. Like it's 71 Dodge. with
Yeah,
all
we
that
need to
advertising
plug
on
this
it.
one up, but we just moved out. The 71 Hemi Charger was in here this weekend, and this was there lit up, but we will, we'll come back to that.
Yep.
Come on out.
Wow, look at all the signs in here.
This will give you a quick overview of
I'm
what's in
jealous.
here.
That one's still in the original crate.
And with the original light still burning in it. That's what gets
That's
me.
amazing.
I guess-
Fluorescent. Are those legal? Didn't they make those illegal?
Well, they probably did because they still work after all these years when they made good light bulbs.
I know.
Back in the day. But anyway, we're going to have some fun walking around in here today.
So
talking about it.
shaker.
Yes, a Shaker 383 71 Chally convert. And far as we know, the only one ever built in a convertible with the 383 and a Shaker hood.
So what's rare about this one is the 71 Shaker Challengers are super rare. Didn't they make like less than 100 like all year?
Yes.
Like any Shaker Challenger is super, super rare. So 70, they only made them halfway through the year because there was the crash standards, they were early and late. 71, they just didn't make that many of them. And the funny thing is, Mr. Norm sold about half of the Shaker Challengers that were built.
Because he knew to order them that
Yep.
way, because he needed to sell them.
Yep, yep.
But yeah, any 71 is, like your 70 and 71 Cudas, even the Cuda's pretty, well, they all came with them, so that makes them, the
Yep.
Challenger, as you
Yep.
know, did not.
Yeah, because every Hemi Cuda got a Shaker was always optional on Challenger no matter what.
Extra charge option.
Yep.
Just didn't get a lot of them. And butterscotch, people kind of, it's a love-hate color. I actually like it.
I like butterscotch. I think it's a pretty color.
Especially when you mix it with a white top, white interior. Anyway, this little car here is one that I made up because I've always wanted a 71 gunmetal SE, and this is the only car that's not as it was born, other than it was a 3-3 Charger. So
Tim is very much a purist, just like I am. He likes originality, but this was a car he's always liked. Like you can see in the
brochure in 1971, I just always loved that car.
so he basically made that car in the brochure and added a few.
added a few things like, you don't see these very often, a rear window lubricant for a Charger, but they did make them.
You see him on Plymouth a lot, but you don't see him on the Charger.
On the order pad on 71 Plymouth, you could order it.
Right.
71 Charger, you couldn't, but you could get it through a dealership and add it on.
Okay.
Most people
okay.
don't know that, but it will not work with a vinyl top.
Right.
So
Okay.
with the SE and the
Yep.
half top, I said, this one set I've had all the years of collecting, I said, I'm gonna put them on this car, why not? Instead of just letting them sit in the parts
What's
room
that
and look
seat
at
from?
them. That came out of a 71, well, actually, the Motor Trend test car.
Oh, is that what it came out of?
That seat came out of it
Okay.
because I had a better one and I put it in it. And
Okay.
So, but this one still, yeah, that was
That's
a
the
Hemi car
original.
seat.
Wow.
back in the day.
He's sitting in a Hemi car.
Yep. And a couple of purple machines here. And these are the ones we're going to probably talk about a good bit today, especially the Charger.
Yeah, we're gonna do, so this car right here, 71 Hemi Charger. This got the highest score ever at the MCACN Survivor, or Vintage Verification, is that
Yep.
what they called it?
Time capsule award.
Yeah, so it won the
basically.
Time Capsule Award. This is the nicest Survivor Mopar in the world right here. And we're gonna do a drive in this, we're gonna get it on the lift. I'm gonna do like a full video on this. This is a reference restoration car. So if you're restoring a 71 Charger, there's no better car in the world to look at for a reference for how they were built.
Well, as you'll see when we get it on the rack, the undercarriage of the car looks as if it had been restored.
Yep.
I honestly do not believe this car has ever seen rain. And it's certainly never been in a wet environment, or it wouldn't look that good.
That's pretty amazing. Well, yeah, it's because like you see a lot of times like just storing it on a concrete garage. If there's no dehumidifier, and it can do more damage than anything else. Like the aluminum starts getting cloudy, and it's like moisture just kills these things. This thing has never seen moisture.
Well, the ownership of the car, it started out in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, and the original owner ordered it. And when it came in, he wouldn't even let it come off the truck unless he was driving it. And he was a mechanic at the dealership. And he had a long list of options on the car as well. And so then it sold to three other owners, and I'm the fourth owner ever. But it's never been out of a heated, cool garage.
And this was in the Giuliano collection,
right?
correct?
It came out of Steve's collection, and I tried to buy it from Steve way back in the day, but he had to pay a lot of money for it.
Yeah.
And he wanted a lot more money. And I'm like, I think we're gonna have to wait, Steve. And then he sold it to a gentleman in New Jersey, and eventually we got together on the car about 5 years ago. And
Nice.
so I'm glad to finally own it because I always wanted to own this car. And being a 71 Charger guy, that's the creme de la creme of all of them right there.
Yep.
Especially with the purple and painted bumpers and just originality.
And then 68 Hemi Charger.
Yep, that's I think it's Q7, the color on it, and the 68s are, a lot of people think that's the best one, and I kind of agree. I like the little bullet, side lamps, the tail lamps. The 68s are kind of a pure one.
The rocket taillights are really cool.
Yeah, they're just cool on the car.
I've always liked the 70. That was my first Mopar. I had a 70 Charger. It was my first Mopar in high school. So I've always kind of liked the 70s. But I don't like the 69s. I don't like the divider.
No, the divider kind of kills it on the seat. Now, granted, it's probably the most known of all of them,
Well,
but
Dukes of
still,
Hazzard,
the 68 and the 70, I'm like you on the 70. We'll see a 70 back here in a little bit.
Yep.
That's my favorite.
He's got all the Hemi Chargers.
Well, got one of every year model anyway. And
This is
being a
Survivor.
muscle car museum, we have one of every other muscle car too. This is a 74 AMX, and you just don't see survivors in these things. And it was at MCACN this year, if people remember it, sitting in the lobby.
Yeah, this was in the lobby, right?
Yep.
Yep.
And it received a big award as well. And it's a 401 4-speed with AC. That makes the car very unique.
Wow. Is there any production numbers on AMCs? Like, are they known?
I don't know what the production, but it wouldn't.
They
be
couldn't
many.
have made that
the
many.
last year Ford and that combination of engine and all, it's going to be very low.
And it's a 74.
Yep, it's a 74 model.
Wow.
And they're cool looking. They're different. The interior of them are really cool.
They're definitely different. I mean, you don't see them, so especially a Survivor like that. And black and white is.
Had the show last year, and we sponsored, the Sassy Grass.
Yeah, the
and
Wellborn
pink.
invitation. Yep.
And that's
Spring
Pam's
Fever.
car, Spring Fever, and boy, was it a hit. It was one of those things that everybody loves seeing.
We
the
can
car.
see right here, so my buddy Dan Pausch makes these from Auto DNA. So he has like a board right there that shows all the options, how rare it is, the prices. Really, really cool boards. He'll make that for anybody now. He's great.
Yeah, he's actually coming to the museum, Tom, and we're gonna make one of these for every car in here.
That's
in the
awesome.
very near future.
Yep.
And so yeah, these are rare. There's only 2 of these made, and
2?
Yep, 2 446 pack Charger RTs.
Wow.
There were other pink Chargers, but
Yeah.
2 RTs 6-pack, and we got to reunite them there.
We got stacked Trans Am cars
Yeah,
here.
we got an AAR and a TA, and funny that AAR's broke 2 world records when I sold it in 2015, and when I bought it back in 2020, 145 and 195 when I bought it back. But to me, this particular car has got all the good stuff: the painted bumpers, the rubber bumpers rather, your rear window louver package, 4-speed, AM8 track, just a great car.
When you buy them back, you know you like them. So.
Yeah. So that one's one that probably won't ever leave here again. And,
Plum Crazy toolbox over there. I like
yeah,
that.
I bought that a few years ago. It's got all the Mopar stuff on it.
Right.
Then you got your paint chip Cuda. We call that the most famous car that never was, because it was in the 1969 hot rod, and it was introducing all of the rapid transit system, and there it is. But that's an artist rendering. The car was never real, but we reproduced it back a few years ago, and it's traveled around to a lot of shows. People love looking at it.
So is that a wrap or is it painted?
It's a wrap. What we did,
wrap.
we wrapped half the car in a white wrap, and then we painted the wrap. If you want to take it back to its real life, it's a 74-speed shaker hood Cuda, which is cool.
Yep.
And it's all right. So it'd be very easy to pull the wrap off if you want to, but we kind of like it this way for now.
It's cool. It's awesome the way it sits. So has like all the different colors. I mean, the color palette for 70 was amazing. I mean, some of the colors that came out with.
Oh, it was. Well, imagine today's cars. You got what, 6 or 7
so
cars?
boring.
the
It's
same
white,
old
silver,
boring
black, gray.
red,
Yeah.
and that's about it. But you take this and mix it with all the different color vinyl tops, and the different color interiors you could get.
Yep.
That's why so many Mopars are 101.
Yep. Well, you notice a lot of cars in this collection are multiple color interiors. They're not just black. It's like different colors.
I really
That's
like
what
tricolor
likes.
cars where you got a different color top, different interior, and different
Yep.
exterior. Those are the fun ones.
Survivor 73,
Yep.
6-pack 71. This one's really cool. Tim was showing this to me earlier. So this is a Survivor Orange 383 4-speed Super B.
Yep.
Really clean original car.
All original, never had any restoration at all. Found it right here in Alabama. See, when you think you know of all the cars near you, you don't. I found this one, oh gosh, it might be 50 miles from here or whatever. Never knew it was there. Just happened to hear about it, went up and looked. I said, I'll be dang, it's real.
I know everybody says all the cars are found, and then like something like this
just
shows up.
found just recently, like 3 months ago, a 4-speed white Superbird 30 minutes from right here.
Really?
Never knew about it, and it's never even been recorded in the Daytona Superbird Auto Club.
Superbird.
Yep, and we're talking right now. That may come to the museum pretty soon. So
Tim really likes finding undiscovered cars.
yeah, those are the fun ones.
That's what gets everybody excited. All right, we're not gonna spend a ton of time on these, but he's a muscle car museum, so Ram Air 4 GTO, obviously that's cool. What's rare about this one is the interior and the top.
True.
Yeah.
And then you got an unrestored LS6, which that's the only kind you want to buy, is an unrestored with original paperwork.
Yeah.
A GSX 4-speed and a W30 convertible.
Nice.
And being a muscle car museum, there's a lot of people, you know, I like these too.
You don't just have Mopar people come in.
Right,
You know,
and they want to see, and so I've got one, what I call big horse car of all makes.
Yep.
And then so you can come here, you can see the mix of 1970. I've got the 1970 stuff like you would go to the dealership.
Yep. Makes a lot of sense. Satellite wagons with hardtop tailgates. I don't know why I like that so much, but I really like that. The dual tailgate on the wagon.
More stuff out of the Giuliano collection back in the day.
As you guys know, I'm a cop car guy, so I really like this one right here. That's always, my first Mopar was a cop car, or second Mopar was a cop car.
In Alabama, I guess they decided to chase muscle cars with muscle cars. And the 401 is actually pretty peppy. I actually have driven this car, and it's kind of fun to drive it. And I'll tell you why, because you're going down the road in that bubble on top. There's so many people my age. We remember those, and you'll see cars coming at you down the road, and they'll hit the brakes.
Yep. No, I have friends
the memory thing comes back.
I have friends who used to drive Crown Vics. They called them left lane sweepers because they get in the left lane and everybody would go over real quick.
That's true.
You can tell the turn signals. So, and then, real clean 71 Duster over here. Actually has side pipes on it.
Yeah, the gentleman that bought it brand new, he put the side pipes on it, and he was out of Iowa. He bought it new. He was in the service. And
yeah, so you can see some notes right here. There's actually no price on here because he was in the Philippines when he ordered this, so it's actually an export order. So it's got on the fender tag, it says I on it. So you can see right there on the vehicle order number, it starts with E. That means export, and then the I right there means it's an export car. But it was never delivered overseas; it was ordered overseas, so they considered it an export car at the time.
And basically, they didn't want someone like you and I walking on the dealership and seeing how low the list price was for them in the military, so they just didn't put it on there.
Because they were trying to support troops, and they wanted the brand loyalty. You know, you buy a Plymouth, you'll probably buy another one after it.
Well, the gentleman told me it was basically 30% less than you and I could buy it for. And that's the real window, well, that's a copy of the real window sticker. He got all the paperwork with the car. Cool car.
Yeah.
But he wanted the AR pipes, and you know what? You might want to take them off, put the tips out the rear, but it sounds so good with them on. I'm going to leave it on there. 71 Hemi Cuda. My brother and I bought this way back in the day, and my father too. We all three went over and bought it. Hard to imagine, but just $2,800 back in the 80s.
Yeah, so he bought it in '78 for $2,800.
That's right, it was 78, not 1980. But anyway, what's cool about the car, it was an unrestored 71 Hemi Cuda. If we bought this car today, you would not have restored it. But my brother and I said, oh, the paint's faded a little bit. And back in them days, you just painted it. You just thought, I don't want no faded paint Hemi Cuda. And the billboard on it has a unique story. Back then, there was no billboard stripe. So we called up Year One to get a billboard. They said, we don't have any. This still had the original billboard. They came over and traced it, and that's the first reproduction they made. And we put it on a car. It fit perfect. So that's where it all started. Right
and Year One did that for you?
Year One came over and done it.
Yeah, Year One was kind of like, they sold NOS Mopar parts back then. They kind of got in the repo business right around
early on.
Yep.
And that was before David Paddock and and the guys that do
Performance
it now.
Car Graphics, all those guys. But this is so cool. And look at the paint job. Like, it's really quality. Like, Tim and his brother did this in their garage in the 80s. It looks pretty good.
And you want to tell them about the 426 on the...
Oh yeah, so this is really neat. So this is kind of a controversy on these. So it's not supposed to say 426 Hemi. That was for a Challenger. This is supposed to say 426 Hemi Cuda? Or does it say Hemi Cuda?
Supposed to just say Hemi Cuda.
Just say Hemi Cuda, yeah. Want to make sure I got that right. But this is like documented that it came with that. And there's a few other cars that have been documented since then. So never say never with Mopar. The quality was...
never say never with Mopar. But there's three others. No, not three others. Three that we know of now that came this way. You got to look, 71, they were using up everything, and that was the end of it. So
the shaker cars were so rare. I mean, they only made, what, less than 100 Hemi Cudas.
108.
Yeah.
109.
So I mean, the shaker cars were so rare. You know, like they're building thousands of cars. The shaker bubbles are sitting on there. They didn't care if it had the right emblem on it.
Then you've got the Challenger that, you know, was even rare.
Yes.
So if you look behind you right here, you'll see a 446 pack Challenger. That, if you want to be technically correct, should have been a black bubble.
Right.
It's not. It's an Argent. And they just threw on what they had at the last of the years there. So.
Yeah, they were trying to use up the parts at the end of the year, so they would just throw on whatever they had.
So that saying you said just earlier, never say never on a Mopar, you better not. And one day you'll be made a fool of yourself.
I mean, you need to back it up, but yeah, but it's, you know,
Yeah.
they did weird stuff on these. The quality control wasn't really.
No, that was not important back then. And who would have cared if it said 426 Hemi when it came to your.
Right.
your
Well, yeah,
door
I mean,
anyway, you know?
it didn't say Challenger on it. Like if it said like 426 Challenger,
Yeah,
they
that'd be
probably would have
different.
caught it. But like it is a 426 Hemi, and
Yeah.
it's not right, but you know, no one would really care.
Then
in
one
the
of my
quality
favorites
department.
too is this triple black 71 Charger Sunroof. And I've had this car a lot of years, and I think it's in like the 30 range of these cars that was made with a sunroof.
Yeah,
Back then the sunroof was real expensive.
Yes.
Over $400.
Yep.
And the word was out, they leaked. And so nobody ordered hardly any of them.
Isn't that the most expensive option, or was it AC or the Hemi?
No, the Hemi was the most expensive
Okay.
option. It's $700+
Yep.
on whatever
Yep.
car you got it on. And I would say the sunroof definitely, it was 470 something maybe in that range.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was
I think it was more
really
expensive than AC. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it definitely was more expensive than AC.
Yeah. So they're super rare. They only made
30 plus of them.
Yeah, and the values on sunroof cars have exploded the last couple of
anything
years.
with a roof is
People
open
really
roof.
understand how rare they are, and they're really desirable.
It's not convertible pricing, but it's getting
Yeah.
it's getting on up there.
It's getting
for
up
sure.
there, yeah.
So
And then these cars over here are Ted Stevens from Stevens Performance
Right.
Cars. We're actually going to be heading up there tomorrow. We'll do another video from up there tomorrow. So
yeah, this is Ted's 71 446 pack Survivor. Ted and I have one thing in common. We kind of get at odds with each other every once in a while because if there's a Survivor car, we're going
You're going after the same car?
against each other. So that's what we really enjoy finding these days is Survivor cars.
Yeah.
And he's at the top of that list too.
Yep.
As what we find as you collect for, gosh, I've been doing cars 45 years. Early on, it don't matter a lot. And then you go through a period where you restore cars a lot. I've done all that through the years with Roger Gibson and Andrew up at Apex. But then you stumble in, you just reach a point where, no, I want a Survivor. And let me tell you, you're going to pay up for a Survivor up front. But the old saying, they're on original once. Now, Survivor needs to be a good Survivor.
yes.
There's
Survivor, then there's Survivor.
There's no door dings or scratches in this car. That is a premium piece when you find something like that. So those are the kind of cars that I like to collect and he likes to collect.
Well, I know, and I've seen that so often. You see, the term Survivor is so overused.
Yeah.
If the motor's been out and restored and it's not like at least 50% original paint, it's not a Survivor anymore.
No,
So
it's not. But anyway, basically I say this about auction companies. There's only three kind of cars I'll buy at an auction. One, I knew the car before it went there.
Yep.
Two, it was restored by a restorer that I know does great work. But most of all, a Survivor.
Yep.
Because you can walk around a Survivor car and that car will talk to you.
There's
I've
nothing
never
to
been
hide.
wrecked.
There's
I've never
nothing
been
to hide on this
rusty.
car.
You know,
Yep.
so you know what you're getting with one of those. And
Yep.
yeah, you're going to pay up for it. But
Yep.
you're also going to see it bring more at the end of the day.
Well, and I just love having a Survivor car for a reference. Like when you're doing restoration,
Right.
just having one around to look at is
Yeah, true.
fantastic.
And here's my dad's Charger. When I was a kid, this was what he drove. And I always dreamed about having this car. No, well, my father made sure I never found the keys to this at 16 years old. Tony Gold with a dark gold top and the cream interior, which was a unique color combination.
What a pretty combo.
And most Tony Gold cars, most people think, yeah, they don't really like them, like maybe F8. I actually like F8 and I like Tony Gold because my dad started out with this, and the color just grew on me through the years.
And these really too, especially with F8, I've done a couple Roadrunners in that, like they really transform at night because there's a lot of metallic in
Oh,
them.
yeah.
So they like glow at night.
do.
They're really pretty at night.
This particular car, in the sunlight, the color almost flips like you pay to get done
Yep.
today.
Yep.
Because there's so much metallic in that color.
It's like one of those Mustang chrome
Yeah.
paint jobs they did.
Yeah.
It like changes color. Boy, that front spoiler is ginormous on this thing, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Well, I'll say a quick thing about Richard Petty was here one time, and so I asked him, I said, Richard, what was your favorite car to drive? Was it the Superbird? He says, no, the Superbird was not his favorite car. So I said, well, explain. He says, well, because the Superbird was so good, other drivers could stay with him on the track.
Right.
That maybe didn't have that edge he had. His favorite car was the 71 through 74 Charger.
Well, he won more races with that car.
That was the
than
car
any
he
other.
won everything. Because if you look at it, look at the nose. It's aerodynamic. There's not a lot of nose sitting out there.
Well, what's really crazy on these, and they designed this car for NASCAR. Like it really was.
Yeah.
Like they aero tested this, and like these aren't that far behind a wing car.
They're not.
Like
They're not.
In
So
CD
that's why he
drag.
because when everybody went into this model, his edge of driving abilities took him to that winner's circle more times.
Yep.
And,
I mean, he dominated the 70s. I mean,
and they made 33 automatics, and so this is one of the 33. My dad wanted an automatic. Well, we all know automatics were faster than the 4-speeds, unless you were a herd mechanic.
Ronnie Socks, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was at this was at Amelia Island Concourse. That's cool.
Yeah, it's been there a couple times.
Nice.
And,
beautiful.
well,
car.
obviously, that would have to be. I get asked which is my favorite car. Most of the time, I say whichever one I'm driving today. But this would have to be it because of the history of my dad, and this is what started it all back in.
Did your dad buy this new?
Yes,
Okay.
and no.
Okay.
There was a guy for a short period, and then he got it.
He bought it right after
Yeah,
that. Okay.
so.
That's how I like to buy cars. You get a little bit of a discount. He's got a lot of memorabilia up on the walls, all the plastic signs, the sun machines and hubcaps and tires.
Yeah, it's been, like I said, there's 40 years plus of collecting.
I don't have that Chrysler or that Plymouth sign. Those are two I'm missing.
What, the blue and white?
Yeah, I don't have that one. I've got a bunch of the Valiant version of that with the same font, but I don't have that Plymouth or
that
Chrysler.
particular one. Yeah. Well, keep looking. They're still popping
They
up.
show up,
Unfortunately, the price just keeps going up. All the memorabilia,
well,
signs especially.
American pickers, plastic is the new porcelain. That's what they said. So plastic's getting expensive.
And this is Ted's car as well, from the movie, the 1996 Vanishing Point movie. This one, as well as the actual Crossing the Desert car.
And that's like painted on patina, right?
It is.
Yeah.
Actually, you can't wash it off. It was put on there to stay, and what they did, they threw coffee grounds against it, and then they cleared over it.
Huh.
So it won't wash off.
Yeah, and that's from the remake from 1996.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, if you haven't watched it, you need to go watch it again just to.
Is that the K&K cart?
Yeah, that's the K&K fuel cart right there.
That's cool.
And it's been repainted. It's supposed to be orange. We're gonna convert it back to its green. But that is the old fuel cart for the K&K.
That's cool. We're going to do a whole feature on the K&K cart as well. I love old NASCAR cars. I'm fascinated by them. The amount of money they put in the NASCAR program, like, dwarfed what they put in the drag racing program.
Yeah.
Like, they put a lot of money into winning races on Sunday.
Well, and the Hemi was doing it too.
Yep.
And right here is a Hemi Roadrunner. It's unrestored. It's in limelight, white top, white interior, 4-speed. Great car, runs and drives super. I'm torn about restoring it. I love to look patina on it, but probably it'll get restoration at the end of the day.
See, this is one of those classic, it's really hard. Like there's a couple other cars in the museum where Tim was talking about where they're better than this and he's thinking about restoring them or not. And this one's kind of like the borderline. It's like, it's really cool as it is. They're only original once. Once you restore them, they're not original, but this car will really pop restored.
Oh gosh, yeah, the color combo on it, it could possibly be a 1-1. 70 Roadrunners were what? It's a 1-year only car.
Yep.
So how many Hemi 4-speeds limelight?
Not very many.
There ain't gonna be many of them, especially with a white top and white interior on the car.
It's such a pretty.
So it's probably going to
combo.
get restoration. The trunk already is full of NOS parts, ready to do it someday.
We're going to get to raid Tim's parts room in a little bit here. So K&K Daytona, I'm not going to go into depth on this. We're going to do a whole separate video on that. So,
we'll get to it in a little bit.
Yep.
Then. So another one of my top favorites here would have to be this unrestored 70 Hemi Charger 4-speed with the blue interior. And I bought this from the original owner.
This car is so nice.
And
so
it is
nice.
just an untouched super track pack.
Do you mind if we pop the hood on this one?
We can. Go ahead and pop it. I think you know how to handle 70
Yep.
Charger hood. And it took me 33 years to buy the car. I called this gentleman every year around Christmas. Nice conversation, but it always wound up the same thing. No, son, it's not for sale. And I'm like, well, all right, I'll call you again next year. Well, about 8 or 9 years ago, this gentleman was going from Charlotte, where he lived, to Montgomery. He said, I want to come see you. And he stopped in here and he checked it out in the museum, and he says, this is where I want my car to be so it can live on. And I said, all right. are you ready? He says, no, son, it's not for sale. Oh, I was deflated pretty bad. But he says, I'll tell you what, when I pass away, my daughter will call you. And that's exactly how we purchased the car. When he passed away, and I went up to get it, and it was her wish to actually ride in the car with me to his gravesite and get one last photo. That's how well she was so in love with her father, and actually drove this car. Imagine driving a 410 Super Track Pack car from Charlotte to Talladega twice a year to watch the races with none air in August.
a lot of people don't realize this. So first of all, you couldn't get AC with a Hemi, and it gets pretty hot down here in the summer.
Especially.
But when you have a 410 4-speed car, I mean, you're going 60. You're at like
4,000
RPM. I mean, like, it's so rare to find an original numbers matching 410 4-speed Mopar because they always got blown up.
Yep, they did. And this gentleman he was so peculiar about the car. He just took care like crazy. In fact, one little thing I have to say was funny. So when I got back, we got to cleaning up the car, I found this stick beside the driver's seat. And I'm like, what is this about? So I called the door. I said, it's got a little notch cut in it. And she told me, she remembered. She said, no, every time my father drove the car any distance, he wanted to power wash the engine. So he had made a stick that would come from the bottom of the seat to the gas pedal to keep the RPMs up till it dries. So it's still in there this day.
That's amazing. But like, look at the detail on this car. So like, my biggest pet peeve on a Mopar is when people don't black out the grill. Like, if you don't black out the grill in your car, I'm just walking away. Like,
Two things that I agree with the blackout, and when I see undercarriage, the wheel wells with none undercoating.
Yes.
Right off, I know something's wrong.
Terrible if they miss that. But you can see the detail here and like the overspray. Like, this is such a great example of how they did it from the factory. Again, of course it's in Tim's collection, but you know, a reference restoration car, original radiator cap. You can see on the hose right here, it's got the original part number. You can see it kind of has a hex pattern on it. Like, only the original radiator hoses have that. They have repo hoses that have the right part number, but they don't look right. They don't have the right. They don't have the right stuff on it. So the negative battery cable. Like, this is just a fantastic car.
And undercarriage is really nice. Still shows a lot of its markings, everything about it. So it's hard to find one of these, but when you do, this car didn't come cheap either when I bought it. But you know what? It just keeps climbing in value.
I don't know if this is my favorite car here, but it's definitely top 2.
Oh, it's up there.
It might be the K&K. That might be my favorite car here.
Well, we're gonna visit it here in a little bit too.
Yep. Always ask permission to pop a hood on a car like this.
You can do it.
Appreciate it.
So then you got another 70 Charger, and I'm like you, 70 Chargers are really got a soft spot with me. 71s are number one with me, but 70 Chargers next. And why? Because your bucket seats, the big pistol grip, the rally wheels all came in that year.
And all the different colors. Like the 69 colors weren't as interesting as the 70 colors.
No, not at all. And then you know, this one here is another, it's original paint Survivor, and you just don't find these every day.
And this is super rare, like the hood insert. And you can see right here, like, get a close up right here. So you can see like the mask line right there, how bad that is. But that's factory, you know? And it has the, kind of a
correct matte feel look to it.
Yep. So it's really hard to reproduce that, to get that right, because everybody just gloss paints the hood inserts when they do it. You don't want that because there's not supposed to get reflection in the windshield of the driver.
That's right. That's what they're all about. Yeah. Anyway, I like the color combo on this one, and that big pistol grip sitting in it.
Yep.
69 Hemi Charger. Like I said, we've got one Hemi Charger of every year model, 68, 69, 70, 71, several 71s, but had this one for a lot of years. It was actually owned by my best friend, Kevin Green, and he played football in the
he was a good
NFL
dude.
Hall of Fame, and he gave me all this stuff through the years, and it just seemed fitting to put it in his car.
Yep.
I owned it, and he drove down one day. I didn't know him at that point, and he was wanting to buy a Charger, and I said, I've got one. He wanted to buy my dad's. It was sitting in the Talladega Museum. I said, no, that one's not for sale, Kevin, but I got one. He came over here, and this was green, like his last name. He had a fit over it, and we became best friends over this car. He bought it from me. He went to Roger Gibson, restored it, and then a few years ago, before he passed away, unfortunately, he sold it back to me. And now, so this one will always be one of my favorites.
That's awesome. I love you display that fantastic with the helmets and all that stuff.
Well,
looks really good.
Quick story that's a lot of fun. Kevin and I became good friends. He had a 73 triple white Charger like the one we walked by a while ago. I had one in school. So he drove up that day in a 87 Dodge pickup, 4-wheel drive, white, parked right beside my house. So this is just kind of strange. So I went to the Super Bowl with him, and I sat with his father. We get back home, his father calls me up, says, Tim, he says, I'm looking for one of my old friends, and ironically, he's got your last name. that was my dad. He and my dad were best buds.
Really?
Kevin and I never knew that. I think that's why we clicked. My dad had the car,
How random is that?
and Mr. Green was the football player. And as soon as the game was
Wow.
over, they were catting around. So that's just, how do you ever, you can't even start to think and make that story up.
That's crazy.
But that's father and I, and we didn't even know it all those years. And so that's a special car to me. And then you've got one of the 6 440 display Challenge that went around the country. Kind of got a nickname, the Bob Hope car, because one of these was given to Bob
Right.
Hope.
Yep.
And this is one of that 6. It's the 440 version, Magnum with all the options, and then you've got the 446 pack. They were red, I think were red interiors, and that was the difference. But they traveled the country over.
So what they would always do at the start of each year, they would build a certain number of cars to show to all the dealers, basically.
Right.
And they would travel around the country. But they always built, like, it varied in number, like 6 to 10 of them, basically.
Yep.
They were all identically built. So they would go to the Portland regional office. They'd go to, Atlanta. They'd go, like, all over the country to travel. And they built them exactly the same. But they're always super high options, super cool cars.
They
They
put
built
every
at the start
option
of
so
the
you
year.
can see what all you can get, and that's one of them.
Because they're trying to get dealers to order more stuff, so
Yeah.
they put all the options on them.
So then the little Cuda convertible. I've had this car since the 80s in 440 Cuda convertible, with blue interior and white top. This has always been a special one to me. They only made 28 of these. Any big block Cuda convertible,
Rare.
70 or they're just rare.
Yep.
They just didn't. So it's but it's 440 with air. And I will tell you what I like about the convertible.
440 with air.
440 with air.
That's cool.
When you're driving this car, because it's got the convertible top, it's got that beautiful V8 sound that comes through the top. You don't get that with a hardtop car. Unless you've driven a convertible, you don't really understand what I'm saying, but it just sounds so good.
But again, blue interior, there aren't too many black interior cars in here.
Right. I like color combinations, that's for sure.
Yep. His sign collection is absolutely amazing. He's pretty much got one of every sign. Dodge Authorized Service, top quality used cars, Pentastar. You definitely get a different perspective from up here of all the signs and everything in the cars. How cool is that? All right. So my favorite place in the world is going up into an attic of an old dealer. It's a little bit different with Tim because he's got some absolutely amazing stuff. International Girl, interesting. Spring Again, tune-up. Yeah, there's some amazing parts up here. Of course, Tim's had a lot of cool cars over the years. And I really like going through attics like this because this is always where the good stuff is. Looks like he's an Auburn fan. You're either Bama or Auburn down here. Just a big stack of Rimbaud wheels, emblems. Richard Petty. That cardboard cutout's cool. Wheels, tires. Wow. NOS headlight bezels. Year 1 Challenger park lenses. Actually not sure what those hubcaps are. It's like 4-wheel drive stuff because it's got the opening in the middle. Jacks. Lots of NOS trim. As I said, at my heart, I'm a parts guy. I love this stuff. Oh wow, he's got a bunch of signage up here. Certified car care safety check material inside. Those are really neat. So I think this is where a lot of the boards in the shop were. Certified car care kit. Rapid turnover system. From Crane, Texas. These boxes are super cool. Blue interior. It's crazy when Tim does a restoration, sometimes the used parts are like nice enough for a restored car. Whole rack of NOS exhaust. I think that stuff's repo. I just had to buy E-body exhaust from ECS and it was quite expensive. 426 Hemi manifolds. That's an NOS key member. All right, see those right there? Let's see if I can get through here without tripping. So, NOS 71 Cuda fenders, but what's special about them? See that? See that rolled lip? That's not something somebody just did. They rolled the lip on Hemi cars because they came with F6015s and they actually rubbed the fenders. So they actually rolled the lips from the factory. Those are NOS 71 Hemi Cuda fenders. NOS gas tank, wow. I'm like a kid in a candy store up here. Richwood, West Virginia. Interesting. NOS Charger Challenger RT hood. More really clean original gas tanks. I'd probably run those on something. NOS wheel wells. Wow. Tim has more toys than I do. I'm jealous. Tan door panels, radiators. Yeah, Glenn Ray just retired, so I'm not sure. He says someone's going to take over making reproduction radiators. I hope that's the case. Wonder how long that Coke can's been up there for. Boy, if you guys have ever tried to install NOS reproduction wheellet moldings, you know how valuable these are. The repos just don't fit at all. Those are Challenger. Those are 70B body, I think. Or those might be Cuda. It's hard to tell. Wheel-ups are hard to identify. Lots of hideaway headlight stuff. Tim's at heart a 71B body guy. There's a lot of that stuff here. That's a lot of NOS moldings. He said he just bought a lot of this at swap meets over the years. He'd fight Steve Giuliano over it. They'd both be trying to buy the same thing. I don't know what that wheel is. If anybody knows what that wheel is, let me know. It's kind of cool. NOS roof. Those Goodyear signs is awesome. That'd be cool to hang on the building. Wow, NOS frame rails. It just keeps on getting better and better. No admittance in this room, except for me. I get privileged access. There's this parts book collection. These are cool. Bunch of promo photos. Those are getting kind of hard to find. Color trim selector books. I always like featuring those in my videos. There's good information. K&K 500. Lots of emblems and tips and stuff. Oh, that's cool. Mopar accessory side. This is kind of his literature collection in here. Plymouth hat. Plymouth out to win you over. Another cool Mopar sign. There's a whole row of 71 E-body brake boosters. NOS control arms. I love these because they have the original Cosmoline still on them. You can see how they were built. They didn't Cosmoline all of them. Some were painted, but a lot of them were Cosmoline. There's some absolutely amazing parts in here. 71 Challenger grills. Problem with these is I'd just be scared to ship the things. These wings always broke off these things. 71 Cuda NOS grills, red one and silver one. 71 Hemi carbs. Some idle solenoids. These are getting pretty hard to find. NOS speedometers. Yeah, B-body stuff there. More memorabilia. That's all 71 Charger taillights, NOS. They make some of that stuff. They don't make all of it, but they make a lot of it now. 71 Cuda NOS. These are a bunch of NOS heater controls. These are very hard to find. That's the Stradivant one. That's the AC one there. Nobody makes those. Touch-up paints and cans. Wow, look at those hubcaps. These things are gorgeous. NOS rally wheel caps. Gills. These are cool. Had a few of these over the years. They used to put those in cars to protect the floor mats. Wow, NOS headlights. Super, super neat. NOS, still has a sticker on it. Here's a picture of the dealership back in the day. How cool is that? Look at all those OK signs. There's like 100 of them. They're everywhere. All right, so here's the other dealer building over here with a lot of cool stuff in here. This is my brother's favorite car.
Yeah, he was just telling me that. So you can take a picture of all the options. It's got to be one of the best option Roadrunners probably anywhere. It's 383. Okay, that's the one people might think, well, the value ain't there. But when you start throwing the paint color, the white interior, the rear window louver package,
391
package.
Yep.
And as you can see, it's just loaded with options, but especially the sunroof setting in it with air grabber hood. Now, a lot of 383 cars wouldn't have got the air grabber hood. You know, when you started throwing that kind of money at a base 383.
It's full air. Got the sunroof, got the air grabber.
And then the painted bumper package, it goes on and on. So this one is an unrestored car. You can see it's got a small amount of rust, but nothing that scares me at all.
Again, I wouldn't touch this car. I mean, I know you probably want to restore it.
This
but
car
like,
runs and drives so good you don't want to mess with it. It's just go to Walmart and don't care if you get a door ding.
Well, exactly. It's nice having cars like that. I mean, there is a couple little spots here, but like, I mean, just, you know, you keep it preserved, it's not going to get any worse.
And there's the car runs so well, you just don't want to touch it. It just go have fun with this car right here.
And
but a little paint would sure make it look pretty. But hey, there's something to be said about original one time only.
Yep.
Only.
Okay, and what car doesn't fit in here?
Well, it got donated. We're putting a tire on it. It actually runs and drives nice, but the original owner donated it, and it's a cool little turbo.
Okay, tell me about the Chrysler boat. What's the deal with this thing?
It's got a 340 Magnum in it. That's what
Really?
Yep, that's what's in it.
I've been trying to buy one for years. I have a buddy near me who said he's going to sell it to me soon, but I really want one of these.
Chrysler Conqueror.
I know I'm not a boat guy. You know, the two happiest days in a boat person's life. Yeah. You try to get it running?
We are going to try to get it running.
Nice.
And we live on a large lake here. It would be fun to get that thing running. Hear that 340 making noise again.
And again, blue interior,
Yep.
not black or white.
That's right. Those kind of cars, you kind of throw a wrap on it rather than paint them these days. Put decals on them and get your engine built again and go have fun.
Just have
with
fun.
It.
He's got a Scout here.
Yeah, my first new vehicle ever in my life was an International Scout.
What year?
It was 1976 when I got the International Scout.
Nice.
You go along with my Daytona sitting over here. But this is not it, but it was one just like it back in the day. Scouts, as you know, Scouts, Ram Chargers, Broncos, they've all
really
getting popular these days.
Yep, and then he's got this gorgeous Ram Charger over here.
Yeah, I've only owned that about 2 months. Bought it from the original owner up in Illinois. And you'd think, well,
Illinois?
it would see some salt, but it did not see any salt.
Look at the interior of this thing. It's just mint. How many miles?
I think it's 38,000, something like that.
Wow. It's a time capsule.
It pretty much is. That's just the second one I own. I own a black one, red interior, which is even better than this one. It's a total untouched Survivor. It's not in this building.
I prefer the pop tops, but these are growing on me a little bit.
I know.
So
Pop tops are better.
Yep.
The Trail Dusters are even better than the Ram Chargers. When you can find
well, they're just rare. They just didn't make as many of them. All right, so here's. Okay, if I was back in high school in 1976, this is what I would have bought too. This is Tim's high school car.
Yep, this is, I bought it in 1970, late 75, early 76, I can't remember exactly, and this is what I drove to high school, a Dodge Daytona. The Bobby Isaac car, which you're doing a story on, was it inspired me to want this. Because
has the NASCAR decals on the hood,
just like Isaac, and Dodge on the nose.
The second annual Daytona Superbird meet.
Yeah,
when was that?
Oh, 78, I think, somewhere along there.
Yep.
And then I did the shows every 5 years starting after that, up until this last round. And we might do one more. We'll see.
Yeah, Tim hosts the Wing Car Reunion every 5 years on the anniversary of the Talladega race. Yep. So he always says this will be the last one, and then he always ends up doing one more. So
well, we may do a final last call, something like that.
Well, and he actually parted out. He bought a complete Hemi motor. This is a 440 automatic car, but he bought a complete Hemi drivetrain for this thing.
Yep, out of a 69 runner way back in the day and put it in here.
And then did you find the original block for this too?
We did. I sold the original 440 out to my high school buddy, and he put in a 66 Charger. A few years ago, that 66 Charger circled back. So I do have the original engine that could be put back in it.
That's awesome.
But all of my time, I had the Hemi in it.
Right.
So I'm glad to have the motor back, though, that you've got. So both of them came back.
My high school car was a Honda Accord. I would have rather have this. So.
Yeah. But I sold this car around 1984 when Pam and I got married, and it was gone for 20 plus years and able to buy it back. And so car came back and motor came back. That don't happen every day.
Nice. And then the lone C-body in the collection.
Yep.
70 Fury convertible.
Yep, in F8 green. And
this one's owned by Alden, his mechanic.
Yep. Alton has that car. He's my museum curator, and this is his toy, and he loves this thing. He painted it and fixed it all up. There's a local car, so it was never a rusty car, right here in Alabama.
Does stuff stay pretty clean down here for the most part?
Yeah. You may have kind of ratty interiors and paint kind of faded out, but you don't have rust, thank goodness.
That's good. Yep. Well, there's a C-body. He needs to buy more C-bodies. Just
actually, I like C-bodies. They're growing on me a lot, Tom. You're having a little influence on that.
Well, we're at Tim's, so we're going to drive a car. 71 Hemi car, so of course manual choke on these. 40 46,000 miles. Reverse light works too. Now we're gonna head up to the museum and head up to Tim's house, which is absolutely amazing. I haven't seen it before. I want Tim to give us a little history of it, but it's basically a replica of Mount Vernon, right?
That's exactly right. Mr. Russell of Russell Athletic. A lot of people have worn their sweatshirts, seen their jerseys on football teams through the years. But anyway, it's his home, and he built it to look just like Mount Vernon back in the day.
That's awesome.
That's where we're headed to. We're going to do a little short drive before we go there, just to warm the car up.
Somebody go through the wall over there?
I think, luckily it wasn't me. Obviously, we're not going to make it pull hard until it gets a little heat in it.
Yep. That ram charger. Look at that.
It needs a little bit of work.
It's got a wrong door on it, but that's a ram charger.
That's neat. It's always, like I said, at the museum we drive every car. Alton keeps them going for me. We haven't driven this one in probably 3 months, but it cranked right up.
Well, it's a perfect day. I mean, you guys had some bad weather last month, so.
And this car was one of the last ones I bought. And this car's not ever been to a car show, so it's going to be fun to show it. It came out of California, rust-free California car. Original owner brought it to Roger Gibson to restore, mainly because the paint had faded. We all know purple paint does not last.
No, there's almost no such thing as original paint purple.
The interior of the car is totally 100% original, except for the carpet.
Yep.
And, but 71 Challenger 426 Hemi with a 4-speed. They made exactly 71 Hemi Challenger. It's always an easy number to remember.
Yep.
It's a 354 gear car, and a lot of fun to drive. It is.
And Tim drives this stuff, and it's super important. Like you don't just want to take the car out and start it. Like you want to drive it for a couple miles, exercise it.
We never just crank a car and not move it, because I want to get the mufflers hot and not have rust going there. Plus, you just want to drive it.
Yeah, because that's really one of the biggest things when you start them. There's always moisture in the engines, and you get moisture in the exhaust, and it doesn't work.
Ford rally dash car, 4-speed. It's just a great machine. Knowing you got all the original photos, so you know the car never had damage. It never had any rust at all. The original owner thought it had spun a bearing. It had not. It had actually a clutch issue, and he quit driving it. He's thinking there was something wrong with it. There really wasn't much wrong with it. And,
interesting.
And then he named it to Roger to do a complete restoration.
Roger does a great job. He's fantastic.
He has. He's beginning to slow down a lot. He's still doing a few cars for me, but he's not taking in full-blown restorations like he once did. Now, he still is doing minor stuff on cars, and will do that probably for a long time.
Yep.
I think his days of repairing quarter panels and all of that heavy work is pretty much done.
Yep.
He's restoring right now 71 sassy grass, white interior Hemi Charger for me, and I'm looking really forward to getting that car out of the shop.
That's awesome. How close is it?
It is in paint right now.
Okay.
So when we reach paint, I'm thinking we're 70% of the way there then, because all the parts are already done.
Well, yeah,
and ready to assemble.
The good restoration shops have all the stuff, the component restoration done while the paint body's done. So then, all the hard stuff's done, and then you just got to put it back together. Basically.
One of the aggravating things about restoring cars today, number one, cost. Number two, can you even get the parts?
Yep.
And like waiting for an interior takes forever.
I know Legendary used to be a couple weeks. Now they're like 6 months out on anything.
A year.
You got to plan way ahead.
And they really don't even care who you are. You're just going to wait almost a year to get it.
Yep.
If you don't plan way ahead on a restoration, something like that can greatly hold you up.
Yep.
The thing about the Hemi versus a 6-pack or a 444 barrel, it was just so hard for us non-real gearhead guys to keep them in tune. So yeah, you could get on the street, an LS6 jump all over you, because the person pretty much, they and a GSX, they the same every time.
Yep.
They're big blocks, lots of horsepower, simple compared to a Hemi, and you got dual points in a Hemi, you're adjusting valves on a Hemi, you got 2 4-valve carburetors, and any one of those things out just a little bit, and you could kind of get your butt handed to you out there on a Saturday night.
Well, I mean, on an 8th mile, the 446 pack was just as fast as a Hemi.
Yeah,
it was the
absolutely.
Yep.
And so you just have to want. If you get it in perfect tune, there's nothing like it. And I will say this too. It's a big deal to me when people ask, well, that GSX out run your Hemi. I says, yeah, but I'll tell you there's a difference between a 426 Hemi and a Boss 429. It's real simple. You take that LS6 or that GSX out there, you put the pedal down wide open for 3 or 4 miles, you probably will not have an engine.
Yep.
But your Boss 9 and your Hemi will go 500 miles wide open all day long. There's your difference in your real
they were
NASCAR-inspired engines.
They were built for NASCAR. Yep, they built them tough. All right, here's the entrance to Tim's place. See the house up on the hill.
We've had a lot of fun car shows here in the yard through the years.
Oh, I bet.
And imagine the yard just being full of Mopars and especially wing cars. We've always done a lot of wing car events.
I may have to go to the next wing car because if that's the last one, I may have to go.
I'm going to tell you, if there is one more, it will be the last one.
Okay.
There you go. That's Alabama's version of Mount Vernon.
That's really cool. I love history. I'm a huge history buff. I love this kind of stuff. Wow, this is super cool. Mount Vernon replica. Little pool over there. And a really clean 71 Challenger. Ooh, license plate frames. You know I like license plate frames. Concord Dodge. These are the old carriage houses, which, you know, car storage. All right, well, here's Tim's carriage house, which is awesome.
Well,
all this neon. I love all this neon.
We put a few pieces in here. This was inspired by all of our trips with the K&K Dodge to Europe. Because it's kind of the look you see in Europe. That's why we built this.
So you had this building built?
Yeah, we built it all. And kind of we learned a lot of it when we were out there. Yep, right here we got a B7 blue white interior 71 Hemi Charger. A lot of people know this car because it's at MCACN, and we were selling some cars one year, and Pam stood up and says, "No, we're not selling this one on TV." And everybody's always kind of
if the wife says no, you listen.
You do. You can tell it on my face. No, it's not for sale, Frank. You know, this one's got to roll on, go home with us. So. Real pretty car though. You don't see B7 blue very often.
That's a pretty unusual car. It's really pretty too. It's got a lot of metallic in it. Ignore the Corvette. Don't worry about that.
Right. Then you've got another B7 blue 1970 Charger. And this is a 440 car with air, houndstooth interior, C-stripe. This is a car that Pam and I dated in years ago. We went a lot of places in this car. And just back in 2016, I turned it over to Andrew White up at Apex, and he came back with this restoration, and he actually nicknamed the car Date Night, and that's why everybody knows it is Date Night.
And now it's too nice.
Right. The trouble is, I told him I wanted to drive the car and go enjoy it, Pam and I, and he come back with this kind of restoration, and yeah, we drive it, but we don't go on trips in it.
I love the interior, man. Like the houndstooth is so cool. The
houndstooth is my favorite interior because it's so much more comfortable.
Yep.
And it looks good at the same time.
You sweat on the vinyl. Like it doesn't
especially
breathe.
down here in Alabama in August. I can tell you.
Yeah.
So that's a fun car. It's one that we'll always have. And then this car here is one of my favorites for sure. It's 71 Hemi Cuda, which I consider if any car collector, whether he's a Ford collector, Chevy collector, classic car collector, if there's one Mopar you're going to pick up, it seems that everybody wants the 71 Cuda, whether it's 340, 440, or especially the Hemi.
Yep.
This particular one is the only one that we know of at this point that's a red car with a white billboard.
I mean, most of them are known at this point, so there's very few.
It's probably, we're thinking it is, but again, we go back to the old saying, you never say never.
Yep.
The car is a 4-speed power window, get that, and leather seats, so you don't see that often.
I mean, this has to be one of the best options 71 Hemi Cuda hardtops out there. I mean,
I would think
color,
so.
billboard,
bumpers,
options.
billboard, spoilers, 4-speed, leather,
Yeah.
power windows. Now get this, they left one thing off the order pad. If you're gonna get power windows, wouldn't you got power steering?
It's
don't
manual
have power
steering?
steering. Well, it's got power steering. You know, you got to power it to turn.
Oh man, with a Hemi up there and the big tires, man.
It's a 12,000 mile car. It came out of Texas. All the paperwork's on it. And
12,000 miles.
That's it. It's had a repaint. Roger Gibson painted it for us. Original interior, everything else is the way it came. But Ron Fellwalk owned this car for years. When he bought it from the guy in Texas, it did not have the billboard. It did not have the vinyl top because that particular gentleman said he didn't want it. And
Really?
I think I know why, because when we got the car stripped, it had a small crease in this fender, like you'd scraped a mailbox or something.
Okay.
And then when he painted, he just left off billboards and
Yeah, I
some word was he didn't want to advertise what engine he had going down the road.
Rally
all the time.
dash, AM, FM, like, doesn't get much better than that,
No,
except manual steering.
To me, the fun part is leather seats. You just don't see that in them very often.
Yep.
So great car, and it's one of the ones that's probably pretty high in value. You know, you're looking at $3.5 million for Cuda converts.
Yeah, well, one just sold, so yeah.
So that's the neighborhood of them. So I would have to say that one with this kind of option, rarity, and low miles has got to be half that.
Yeah.
and at
At
least
least
half
close.
that.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
So
They don't get much better than this one. So numbers matching, I'm assuming, and
yeah,
everything.
it all
Yeah.
is, and just a great machine. I'm proud to own it. Look who just popped in. We were just talking about the date night car here that
Is
Andrew
she pretty?
White did for us back in the day, B7 blue. And
She
that's her
was-
favorite color.
My favorite color to make.
Well, wait a minute, purple.
No, this is my favorite blue.
Okay, all right.
So as far,
Correct.
you know, as far, I love red, I love pink, I love purple.
We know
But as
you
far
love
as,
pink.
yes, but as far as the blue shades, I really, really love this color. It reminds me of the color of the Caribbean Ocean, and we go to the Caribbean a lot, and we enjoy that. And so this car is so sweet. I just love everything about this car. I love the C stripe. I really always loved how the 70s had that. You know, you could get different configurations with the stripes. But I think this car's really sweet.
Well, it's one you and I dated, yeah, all through the years.
It's really sweet. So, yes, our first date actually was not in this car. It was in I'll never get it, y'all have to hear the story. It was in a 1970 burnt orange metallic
4-speed.
4-speed Hemi Charger, 70. Okay, so he rolls up in my driveway, and I walk. He got permission from Daddy. I was 16, he was 22. It was a big old deal back then, okay? And so here we were going out. He got permission, walked out to the car. He opened the door, and I sat in. Honey, let me tell you, I had never, ever sat in a car that didn't have air conditioning. And I went, it was June.
That was true.
It was June. And in
And
Alabama,
it's very hot
that's
in June.
hot. So anyway, it just, oh, you got the keys right here. Yay.
Yeah, you're gonna drive
We
it.
need to put a pretty little fob for this car, you know, a little cute little something. But anyway,
Well, I took you for a ride in it, but her makeup was melting on her face.
he assured me, he says, there is stravagant ventilation in this car. You will not even sweat or perspire. So, okay, but the thing that was most impressionable about that car was that pistol grip shifter. I went, oh my God, what kind of redneck have I gotten in? Oh, what am I in for, girl? But you could hear that, the reverberation of the motor, like coming up the driveway.
One quick story
Lord.
on that. I used to pick her up in high school, and I'd drive up outside with thrush mufflers on my Hemi car, and all of her friends would make fun, like, he's out there, because the windows would be rattling.
And this was a no sale at the Minkum auction. I dug my heels in. It was, he looked at me and he says, what's it gonna take? And I just looked at him and roll it.
All right. Well, I just want to thank Tim for the tour. It was a lot of fun. Appreciate it, man.
Well, hey, I had a good time too today,
Yep,
Tom.
it was
Glad
pretty-
you came out here. A
it's
long
pretty-
ways away.
I know. We flew out to this one. I may drive out this summer. We'll see. So I'd love to come see
Hopefully
you
you'll
again.
come back, and then we're open here on every Saturday at the Wellborn Muscle Car Museum, and would love to have anybody can come out here. Look at a lot of Mopars and some other big horse muscle cars from the same era. So.
But yeah, if you guys are ever in the area, support the museum. They do private tours on most days. It's $100 a private tour, but they're open every Saturday. Come on down and look. It's pretty
we'd
awesome.
love to have it.
I can't recommend this.
Wants to come?
I can't recommend this place enough. This place is awesome.
Listen to you. We're Mopar guys. What are you saying? Yeah.
I really can't thank Tim enough. He was awesome for inviting me down here, letting us go everywhere, shoot. It was so much fun. So this is Tom with Rocket Restorations. Appreciate everybody for watching. We'll talk to you soon.